Well, hello, free people of the Rocky Mountain region. This is Brandon from Free State, Colorado. Hope you're having a great day. Hope you have a great rest of 2024. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. But it's just so unfortunate that Colorado Governor Jared Polis is being disrespectful and dismissive to Colorado's ranching community yet again. It's unfortunate. Colorado beef is one of our largest exports. These people literally put food on the table. Colorado has a big ranching community, really everywhere outside of the Denver metro area, and the governor is supposed to represent the entire state. But again, here he is being disrespectful and dismissive to our ranchers. Of course, over this wolf program that has been a disaster in many people's eyes. But we have Governor Jared Polis recently just blaming ranchers for this wolf reintroduction cost. It has gotten so expensive, and the costs are exceeding what voters expected. So, if you don't remember or don't know, back in 2020, Colorado voters narrowly approved Proposition 114. It was about 60,000 votes. That was the difference between the wolf reintroduction measure passing and failing. About 60,000 out of 3 million votes. And now we have gray wolves in Colorado killing livestock and costing millions of dollars. So, just how expensive has it been? Well, here's a recent article from the Denver Post, November 2nd, 2024. And back then in 2020, voters were told the program would cost about 200 or $2.4 million, $2.4 million in that first 3 years. Instead, the state right now in these first 3 years is at $4.5 million. So nearly double that original estimate. It's a lot of money, folks. Colorado's got a lot of problems. A lot of people are struggling to afford living here, and we got nearly $5 million and more millions in the future going to this whole government managed biology program. So, of course, these costs are a lot higher than expected. So, who's to blame? Well, Jared Polis says it's the ranchers for the high cost. Now, why does he say that? Here's a quote from this article. And all these links are at freestatecolorado.com, of course. But Jared Polis said, quote, "This could have cost a lot less if ranchers wouldn't have said, 'Oh, don't get them from Wyoming, don't get them from Idaho.' We probably could have done it for a quarter of the cost there. And there's still time," Polis said. Ranchers, if their organizations, Middle Park, and those guys say to Wyoming, give Colorado wolves, they probably would. The only reason they're not is they hear from ranchers that they shouldn't, so that drives up the cost. Well, come on. Colorado ranchers want to do everything possible to preserve their investment, to preserve their livestock, their animals. And, we have some governments in Wyoming and Idaho who don't want to be complicit in destroying Colorado's livestock industry. So hard to blame anybody there, I would say. Here's an article back from 2023 when Colorado government was sourcing these wolves, looking for where they could get them. Another Denver Post one says Colorado asked 4 states to share their gray wolves. So far, it's received 3 maybes and a hell no. So from the Wyoming governor here, quote, "Wyoming has the scars and lessons learned from the reintroduction of wolves. Originally, gray wolves were to be a Yellowstone National Park population, but not to the surprise of any, wolves have been found throughout the state now." So, Wyoming governor there saw what a disaster the wolf reintroduction program was and did not want to participate in going after Colorado ranchers here in Colorado. And then the bottom line there is from an Idaho government representative who says, on this one, we're going to respectfully decline. So it's interesting to see some of these other states standing up to Jared Polis and the Colorado government saying, hey, listen, we don't want to participate in your little experiment here. We got our own issues in our own state, and this is the last thing we need is further politicization of this issue. So this is from the Colorado Parks and Wildlife. This is just this year, of course, of this gray wolf reintroduction, the predation, as they call it. The 27 animals have been lost that have been reported by Colorado ranchers. So there you go. You can look at that list. Links at Free State, Colorado. Now, these ranchers have until the end of the year to submit claims for their lost animals. So we'll see what that final number ends up being in terms of the dollar amounts that were dispersed to these people who lost their animals. But of course, there's more to the story here. We have Colorado Governor Jared Polis's husband, this guy here, Marlon Reis. disappearing from social media earlier this year. This is just August of 2024, getting in a heated wolf debate. So, what did he say? What caused him to basically delete his Facebook account? Well, these are all quotes from the first gentleman here saying, quote, "Your industry is no more important to the economy of Colorado than any other industry." I mean, come on, guy. Come on. Beef is our second largest export outside of aerospace, the highly technical equipment here, one of our largest agricultural export by far. And you're saying it's no more important to the economy of Colorado than any other industry. I mean, it's absolutely embarrassing. This is the guy that's married to the Colorado governor, and he doesn't know this or doesn't care. And then he goes on this long tirade here talking about how the government is giving ranchers so much money, all these grants, all this taxpayer money is being dispersed to agricultural producers to help ranchers, sharing this money and sharing all this. And the Wolf license plate is going towards this and this and this and this. What would it take to make you happy? He's telling a rancher in a Facebook argument. I mean, how ridiculous is this, right? You can see some screenshots there. One of the lines here, he goes, "The truth is, I don't care." This is First Gentleman Marlon Reis. "The truth is, I don't care. I don't care what you do or don't eat. I don't care what you think you know or what you think you're qualified to comment on. I don't care why your family seems to love the limelight and never misses an opportunity to trash talk the Front Range. If you're proud of being a rancher, act like it. Stop all this complaining is leading nowhere fast." I mean, come on. It's arrogant, it's petulant, it's ridiculous. Have some dignity for heaven's sakes, but going after ranchers on social media and getting into these arguments about it, bad taste. Not only that, but of course, Marlon Reis last year as well wrongly refers to a reporter's wolf story as an op ed. So the Great Fence Post had an article there about the impact of these gray wolves by an actual expert talking about the facts about what was happening. And of course, Marlon Reis was on social media saying, "Oh, that's just somebody's opinion." So the truth doesn't matter to these people. They have their own opinions, their own ideas. They're activists first, politicians second. And that includes our governor, of course. Come on, he's married to the guy. What do you expect? But this is from an anti-meat website. This is their take on this incident that happened back in August 2019. There's Jared Polis eating one of those disgusting fake meat cheeseburgers from Burger King. From the article, it says, while eating Burger King's plant-based Impossible Whopper, Colorado Governor Jared Polis told a reporter he saw a future with fewer meats and more profit. Polis explained that meatless meat would soon be a leading industry, comparing its growth to that of legal marijuana, hemp, and blockchain technology. Pointing to his vegan burger, Polis stated, quote, "Everything that's in this was grown on a farm," end quote. Last week at a new research facility in Broomfield, that was an agricultural research facility, by the way. The governor urged Colorado Department of Agriculture staff to brainstorm ways to focus more on meatless products, such as by promoting crops that support the plant-based meat industry. He also promised to buy 100 Impossible Whoppers for the research facility's employees to encourage them to capitalize on the exciting plant-based meat industry. I mean, absolutely ridiculous. Come on here. I mean, so tone deaf, so out of touch. These people have this attitude, this arrogance that they want to force their way of life on the rest of the state, regardless of what people want. But the ranching community is not done pushing back. Here's a recent article from Marianne Goodland, November 27th. Encourage you to go read all of these articles to get the full story here. But livestock groups plead with Canadian government to halt wolf relocation to Colorado. Quote, "The roughly 24 livestock organizations that have been pleading with Colorado Parks and Wildlife to hold off on introducing more wolves have turned their attention to the Canadian government. In September, the Wildlife Agency announced it would get the next batch of wolves, about 15 from British Columbia, where wolves have been decimating the region's caribou population. The British Columbia government solution has been to cull or kill the wolves. Almost 2,000 have been killed since 2015. Wow. So, I mean, come on. Wolves, I get that maybe they're endangered in Colorado or there's not very many of them in Colorado, but Canadian government's having such a problem. They're killing 2,000 of them. The report said the government intends to kill 244 wolves per year through 2026. The letter from 26 livestock groups was sent on Tuesday to a dozen Canadian officials and government agencies, including the Canadian Wildlife Service and officials with the Minister of Water, Land, and Resource Stewardship in British Columbia. So it's great to see the ranching community, Colorado livestock producers, getting organized and pushing back against this ridiculous plan to further introduce these predators into our mountain regions where there's a lot of ranchers, folks. So, we'll see what happens. Here's a recent map. Of course, you can find these links at Free State, Colorado. I know I've said that before, but nonetheless, you can see the wolves have made it south of I-70. They're getting closer and closer to these bigger population centers, getting close to Breckenridge. We'll see how far they go. I mean, when the plans that the government has to release more and more of these wolves, it's going to keep spreading out across the mountain regions. So lock up your pets, protect your livestock, and maybe we'll see some legislative changes or some ballot box changes here to protect Colorado's agricultural community in the future. So, love to hear what you think. What are some ideas to stop this wolf reintroduction program from being so destructive to our agricultural community? Maybe should it be another ballot measure? Should it be some legislative action? Is there anything that can be done but still maintain the spirit of Proposition 114 from 2020? What do you think? Please let me know. Looking for ideas, looking to get organized on this issue. So, thank you. Take care soon. Best wishes.